My name is Shannon and I am a homeschooling mom of 8 kids, and I thought I would do kind of a mid-year check-in to show you what we've changed with our curriculum, how our year is going, and what we're using now. It is mostly all different from what we started with at the beginning of the year. A little bit of background on us. I have a 14-year-old who's in 9th grade, and we have used My Father's World for her entire schooling, so since she was kindergartner all the way up now to 9th grade. So I have every year of the family cycle. This year I also have a 4th grader, a 3rd grader, a 1st grader, a kindergartner, and 3 younger kids. We started our year using Exploring Countries and Cultures from My Father's World. We were using that for our history and our science, and we did that for a few weeks. I think we did it about 3 weeks, and I was just bored to death, and I'm not exactly sure why. I'm thinking it over because I do want to go back to it. I would like to try to use it next year. Instead of, after using Exploring Countries and Cultures for about 3 weeks, I decided I wanted to try something else. You just got dropping that. So I purchased the America's Story #1 from Master Books. So last year in our family cycle we would have done 1850 to modern times in My Father's World. My oldest daughter did that. She did most of it on her own. And then the younger kids, we ended up actually just reading a lot of books and discussing them, talking about them. We didn't follow any kind of schedule or anything because I felt like the 1850 to modern times was just a little bit too hard for them because they were all pretty young. So I decided to purchase America's Story 1, and I bought the Teacher's Guide in PDF, and we gave this a go, and we actually did it for, let's see, how long did we do it for? Hang on. I'm thinking maybe 11 weeks, 10 weeks, 10 weeks. So we worked on this for 10 weeks. We did this for 10 weeks. And while the kids were enjoying it, I love this book. It's so pretty. It has wonderful pictures in it. The worksheets were not working for us. My kids are not writers. My boys especially have a hard time, and they're the main 2 that I'm teaching. So the worksheets weren't working out for us, and just reading the book, I felt like it was just like going in one ear and coming out the other. It just wasn't working. So I decided to get out my Adventures Guide from Adventures in My Father's World. Now I wish that I would have thought of this last year. I would have done this with my younger kids while Kaylee did 1850s modern times. But this is my adventures from when Kaylee was in 2nd grade. So this is supposed to be for a one-year program for 2nd and 3rd graders that don't have any siblings in the older family cycle. But I didn't even think about this because we were doing the family cycle and they have an older sibling who was doing that. So I thought that they could work along. I wish I would have just done adventures to get them American history. So since we had already done America's Story 1, I kind of looked up where we would be in here according to the timeline of America's Story, and we started there. We've been doing this now. We started this like a week or 2 before Thanksgiving, and we've been doing it probably, well, since then. So I think it's been like 6 or 8 weeks. Sometimes I combine the weeks together and read more than it schedules to read. So we're just cruising right along in here. But now, so we're working through this, Adventures in My Father's World. I also made each kid a notebook. I'm sorry if it's noisy, the kids are playing the Wii over there. I also made each kid a notebook. All I did was find free notebooking pages online. They're all blank, as you can see. And I bound them together with my coil binder. So I'm not using any student sheets for this. What we do is we do our reading, and if there is scheduled in the guide to do a student sheet, then we get out our notebooking pages and the kids do a notebooking page on it. So that's what we're doing for that. Right now we're taking a little break from this for the next couple weeks, about 3 weeks, the rest of February, and we're working on, alright, so for February we're taking a break from adventures and we are doing a unit study on Abe Lincoln. I have several books about him in our own library and I've decided to just pull them all together. So because Abraham Lincoln's birthday is in February and it's President's Day, we're just going to do a study about him, Abe Lincoln, and maybe talk a little bit about President's Day also. So that is what we're doing for history, mainly Adventures in My Father's World, and some unit studies thrown in there also. Okay, for science, at the beginning of the year, we started with exploring countries and cultures with My Father's World, which has science scheduled in, but since we quit doing that, I had to find something else. So I got this, I got it used. The Bugs book, we already had it, and we've completed the Bugs book. We did some of the worksheets with it, and I just helped the boys through them, showed them how to look it up in the book to find the answers to their problems. They just had like fill in the blanks and they had the words listed on top. So the boys were able to do the worksheets for those, which worked out good. Right now we're in the ecology book and it's going all right, but I think this is supposed to be from 4th to 6th grade. And the ecology book is not as exciting as the bug book was for everyone. So I'll just put it that way. So we're making it through there. We're like on the 4th or 5th chapter. We read a chapter a week, but we're not doing anything with it but discussing. And then the last one is the big book of the Earth. So we'll get to that after we're done with the ecology book. If we can't get through the ecology book, we may just move on to this because this will be more exciting for everyone. But there's these are the worksheets. This is from Master Books, and I don't really use them. I use the schedule just to make sure I get everything and keep track of where I am. But right now, most of the worksheets are too much for my kids, so we don't use them as much. But that's what we're doing. Our science now is soil, sea, and sky from My Father's World, or from Master Books. There's too much craziness going on in here. Alright. Okay, so for math, we are still using Math Lessons for a Living Education. I love Math Lessons for a Living Education. It is, I just really, really like it. I like the way it's laid out. I like the short lessons. All of my kids seem to be thriving with it. They're all doing really, really well. And so we're just going to stick with that because I really, really like it. They all started, I think, like Kyla started the year at level 1, and Kryspin started at level 3. He's still in 3. Kolter started at level 3 to finish his book from last year, and then now he's moved on to level 4. So we're just going to keep going with the Math Lessons for Living Education. Okay, so language arts, we started the year doing Charlotte Mason method of language arts, which includes my first grader was doing the Christian Light Education Learning to Read, and that program is very good. It's so thorough, and it does a really good job of teaching kids to read. The problem is that I don't have time to sit to get a whole lesson done, and it was just becoming too much for my first graders. So I switched her to, sorry sweetie, I'm sorry. I switched her to My Father's World first grade, and she has been doing that now for, let me see what week she's on. She's been doing that now for 7 weeks, and it's going really, really well. So we will continue that till she finishes it. And then we'll move on to second grade language arts. But right now, the first grade is going really good. So that's what she's doing. Here is her level 2 math book. This is only part of it. I purchased it on PDF so I can reuse it, and I just printed the first 12 weeks and bound them, and then I've got the rest of them printed in there, but I'm going to do them in smaller books because I don't like my big coils that I have. I like the smaller ones, so I'm going to do them smaller. But that's what she's using for my first grader. Learning God's Story from My Father's World. She uses only the learning to read part, the phonics part of this. We're not using anything else. So just the phonics part of this. My kindergartner, she started the year using Christian Light Education's kindergarten workbooks. She finished them like super fast. She zoomed through them. So when she finished them, I got her the student sheets for My Father's World from A to Z. This is an old guide. It's not what it looks like anymore, but I can still make it work with the new student sheets because I know what I'm doing. So she's going through My Father's World from A to Z. She's on week 9 of that, and it's going really well. And then I also got her math lessons for Living Education Level K. I don't love this one as much as I love the other ones. This one, I don't know if it's just because it's her that's doing it. When she went through the Christian Light Education K light units, they prepared her for this. This is really, really simple for her. So it's basically kind of just busy work right now, something to keep her busy. But she zooms through. It's very, very, very simple, like super simple. It will be great for a preschooler. Like my 4-year-old would be wonderful with it right now. But she's doing it anyway. She does a week's worth in one day because it's very simple. So I don't love this one as much as the others, but we're gonna keep sticking with it because she's doing all right. She enjoys it, and so it doesn't take us very long. So we're doing that. So that is for them. For my 3rd grader and 4th grader, they started doing, the year started out with McGuffey readers, copywork, narration, cursive. I had planned to teach everyone cursive, and that did not work out. My 4th grader also had typing and primary language lessons on his list. We don't do any of that now. I mean, we kind of do because they do something else, but we tried to do language lessons for Living Education. The boys each had a book left from last year. We tried it. We just can't get through those books. I don't know what the problem is. So we pushed those aside. We just really, really struggle with them. What we're doing now is both of the boys have a 3-ring binder. This one is my 4th graders. We're doing Using Language Well and Spelling Wisdom, both book 1. He's doing the last half of the book, which is the way it's planned out. They do the first half in 3rd grade, the last half in 4th grade. He's lesson 71 is where he started. And so we've been doing this. He does a lesson a day, and we're just cruising along in this. We've only been doing it a couple weeks now, but it's going well. So this gets their copy work in there. We do narration when I read. I have them narrate back to me. He's not doing, my 4th grader's not doing any typing. We didn't really start that. I kind of forgot that I was going to do that. So he hasn't gotten to do that. And this also gives them grammar instruction. So it's very light and gentle grammar instruction with the Using Language Well. This has Spelling Wisdom on this side, and then this is Using Language Well on this side. So I printed them, and then I put the lessons together so they're not flipping back and forth all over, and that way they can find them easier. So my 3rd grader has a book exactly like this, only his has lessons 1 through 70 in it instead of 71 to the end of the book. So they're using these for their language arts. They also read 20 minutes a day, and they each have their cursive workbook that they are doing to help them learn cursive. So, as you can see, we did a complete overhaul of curriculum. I'm excited about this new unit study we're going to work on. I feel like my brain has a hard time sticking with one thing nowadays. I don't know how I made it through like all 8 years of my father's world without switching. I switched 1 year and then came back to my father's world. But this is what we're using for now. This is my plan for the rest of the school year to complete what we have here. And then any language arts or math that's not completed this school year, we will pick up when we start next school year. And just keep on going with it. So those are our new updates for the homeschool year. If you have any questions, leave them down below in the comments. That is our update. So thanks for hanging out with me and sticking with me. If you made it to the end of the video, make sure you give me a thumbs up, and I will talk to you guys next time. Bye.